And good morning, everybody. Thanks for jumping on with me this morning. This is Go Out and List Month. It's all about listings this month. And where do listings come from? Well, they come from many different sources, right? Primarily, they're the result of our activities each day. Complete my activities, have listing inventory. Don't complete my activities, don't have listing inventory. And isn't it so much better in this marketplace to be on the listing side of the business? Of course it is. So complete my activities each day, take listings. One of those activities, the one I'm going to speak with you today, but there's dozens of them, and we're going to cover them all this month, but one of those activities is for sale by owners. Now, before you groan and roll your eyes and don't want to hear this, or maybe you end the call, just hang with me for a minute. Making contact with a defined number of for sale by owners each day is one of the activities that I need to get done every day to have listing inventory. And implementing a robust follow-up campaign with them. Don't miss this. If you think that you're just going to call today and speak with a certain number of people and they're going to thank you for calling and set an appointment for you to come out and look at the house, and then you're going to list the house, and it doesn't work like that. You're building a pipeline of prospects that you will have to implement a very robust, relevant follow-up campaign with, to establish yourself as the go-to credible expert with these people. Because for right now, they don't know you. You're just a voice on the telephone. Would you list your house with just a voice on the telephone? Probably not, right? It's much too big, it's much too important, it's much too personal. So I need to, over time, establish myself as the credible expert. Until when? Until they become ready to list. Now, I could teach you, we did this back in the 80s and 90s. It worked much better then. It doesn't work at all now. But I could teach you some salesy, manipulative scripts designed to manipulate people into listing their home. I could, I have them. But number one, you wouldn't do it. Not because you're lazy, because it's not who you are. You don't like talking to people like that. You don't like when people speak to you like that. So when the only solution that is offered to you is cheesy, manipulative, salesy dialogues, scripts, you don't feel comfortable talking like that to people, so you don't. You feel uncomfortable making the call. Why? The only way anybody's given you to speak with people in these situations isn't true to who you are. So I don't really care if somebody wants to argue with me about whether the scripts work or not. If you won't do it, it won't work. Make sense? Okay. Even if you would do it, it won't work today. Why? Consumer skepticism is so much higher today than it's ever been before. Back in the 80s and 90s, consumer skepticism wasn't as high. People weren't being bombarded with ads as much as they are today. So consumer skepticism is so high, and people don't like being spoken to in manipulative ways, so it tends to build a disconnection. It tends to distance them from you. Put it another way, it makes them not like you. Okay, so let's try not to do things that make people not like us. Make sense? Instead, I want to encourage you to do this activity every day, 5 days a week, to be very consistent with it. Do I think you need to do it for 2 to 4 hours a day? Unless it's your thing, I don't. But I think every one of us could speak with for sale by owners that are within 10 miles of where we live. Look, we sell real estate for a living, right? Okay, having listing inventory is good, right? You are a credible expert in your area, right? Okay, these people have a house to sell, right? They may feel that they don't need help with that today, but they might change their mind because statistically they're not going to be very successful. And I'm just going to interrupt myself. For all of you that think that for sale by owners are dramatically more successful today than they've ever been in the past, that's statistically not valid. Statistically, they are not more successful today. Well, Mike, the market's so strong they can just sell the house themselves. They cannot. Number one, it's an exposure problem, right? It might be a fine house and they might have a reasonable price on it. People don't know it's for sale. And Atlanta's a big metropolitan area. The other reason why they're having problems today is, as strong as the market is, it's actually working against them. And here's why. Because buyers understand the marketplace today. Everybody gets it. It's on every news outlet every day. And buyers are working with real estate agents in higher numbers than ever before because they need the help in today's market. And while you might say, well, I might show a for sale by owner, I say, yeah, you might as a last resort. If the home buyer specifically requested to see that property, or if you ran out of all other options, see how far down the list you have to go before you would show the property? You are not, as a first through 10 solution, going to seek out for sale by owners and show them to your home buying customers, are you? Would you do it? You would if you had to, if you were running out of options. That's why for sale by owners statistically, even in this marketplace, aren't any more successful than they've ever been in the past. But it does make sense to them in their amateurism to think that they will be. I don't doubt that. So in many cases, you're just going to have to outlast them. You're just going to have to be patient with them and allow them to mature into a listing process. But I want to today give you this as we close and hope that you'll come to my 9 o'clock practice sessions this week where we're going to work on this, like specifically role play it and what to say and how to say it. And when they say this, what do I say? And how should I get started? And what's the right way for me? Because each of us are different. Instead, today, I'm just going to give you a real quick example of an outline of a call. And I'm going to kind of have the call with myself because that's the format we're on this morning. So instead of cheesy, salesy, manipulative language, what if we just did this? What if I just called a for sale by owner this morning and I said, hi, this is Mike over at Century 21. Just a quick call to see when you're going to be interviewing agents for the job of selling your home. And they're going to say, Mike, we're not. We're selling the home ourselves. We don't need an agent. And I'm going to say, okay, well, other than the obvious, saving money, was there any other reason why you weren't going to hire an agent? Now, I want to find out if their mother's a real estate agent, right? And in most cases, the great majority, they're going to say a variation of, no, it's really just about saving money. We think we can sell it ourselves. And then I'm going to say, okay, great. Well, when you do sell the house, where will you go next? When would you like to be there? If for some reason this house hasn't sold by then, would you consider hiring an agent at that time? Now, I'm doing a couple things here. Number one, I'm qualifying them. Number two, I'm also probing to see if I can help them on the buy side or if I can get an outbound referral to somebody that could help them on the buy side. Once we go through these questions, where are you moving next? When do you hope to be there by? What happens if this house, for some reason, hasn't sold by then? Now I'm going to close them, right? Hey, if you felt like you could get more money in less time by listing your house with me today, would you be prepared to make that decision? I mean, really, you like it when I speak to you like that? No, I'm not going to do that. That's what we did back in the 80s and 90s, and it worked back then. Wouldn't encourage you to do it today. People just hang up on you because nobody likes being spoken to like that today. Instead, I'm just going to thank them for their time. Hey, thanks so much for taking the time to speak with me today. Good luck with the sale of your home. Now, you hardcore salespeople out there, you're going to give me a hard time because I didn't go for the close. It wasn't appropriate to close them yet. Going for a close now would have resulted in a hard no. It wasn't appropriate. Will it be appropriate in the future? Yes. But right now, I'm just a voice on the telephone to them. So there is no close that's appropriate. So now, I'm going to thank them for their time, wish them luck with the sale of their home, end the call. Well, what was the purpose of the call? Because now I'm going to start my follow-up campaign with them. This is a process, folks. This is dating. This is going to take a little while. And for all of you that want to generate listings today, your expectations are unreasonable. We need to be completing our activities each day and implementing our follow-up campaigns each day, and over time we will build a pipeline of strong prospects who will be ready to transact with us when they get ready to, not when I want it. Come join my 9 o'clock practice session as we work on this each day. And folks, this is how we go out and we make it happen for ourselves each day.